I will say some stuff about the game, how I made it in general, and I will also talk about my own experiences, which is a slightly different perspective than I don't want to speak for my teammates when I'm actually speaking for myself. So just so you guys know that that's kind of.
Reese is on the stream, so he'll be screaming if you say something.
I'm trying not to insult him or to ruin our friendship. So there's that. We made the game with 4 of us. It's me, Milos, and Boris. Boris was somewhere, and Marco. And
Somewhere.
yeah, that's actually a very interesting and important thing to note. Like Marco was there shortly.
Yeah.
Boris was completely offside, though he did actually.
Everything.
He did the sound,
Yeah.
and it was good. But I think one of the main problems we had was half of the team was away, and it's not fun.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard for Milos. It was really hard for him to deal with it. But the main thing is it's just not fun. And we did last year. We did the Heart Chaser game, and that went really well for all of us. And so this year we were quite surprised that I think I'm personally not very content with the results we had, and in general I think there was this list of things that went wrong. And the thing is, we worked together before. I also think the team is a good combination. Like we have a guy who is really good with sound. We have among us, we have a lot of knowledge and skills, and somehow it didn't turn out that great. And I think you mentioned some things, and a lot of the issues you mentioned are things we also had problems with. When we had the radio interview, you actually asked us, like, what is your method for working together? And Milos said, we just let everyone do their own part. That does not work at all, according to me at least.
Sorry, what doesn't work exactly?
Like, you know, saying, okay, you do the programming, just do your thing, and you do the art, just do your thing, and then we'll try to mesh those parts together and we'll have a game. So I actually took notes because I'm quite tired and I forget what I'm talking about.
Do you need lights?
I'm okay. Okay.
Sorry, I switched on the lights because of the projection.
Yeah.
So
I don't want to say much about it, so maybe I can just say that now. No, I can't. It's too confusing. But yeah, I think in general coordination was our main problem. Milos was doing a lot of that, probably more than I'm even aware of. That's like a thing, because he's like talking to Marco, who is offside, and in general, we should have gotten together the first day, all of us, and said, okay, we want these mechanics, we want this, we want that, and we should have had arguments. Like you mentioned, having like stressful or like serious arguments with people, and we should have done that, because I don't know, we had a lot of ideas. We presented them to each other, and then we were like, let's go for this. But we never had like, no, I want it to be like that. But like, no, your idea is stupid. This is why your idea is stupid. I think we kind of skipped, I mean, that's my personal view at least, we kind of skipped that phase of, I will look at my paper now because I'm telling you guys nonsense.
But can I ask you, do you think your game was, I mean, could have been much better with your team?
Yes. There's a couple of reasons why I think this. One is that the game with almost the same team we made here was good. It was like fun to play. It had an interesting mechanic. It had that interesting mechanic quite early on, and then we just started to add things and like, you know, maybe we should. So we had this basic thing, and that was it. And also like for this one, a problem. I'm just gonna talk about things I'm thinking because of their silence.
Would you like us to pose you questions? Maybe that would facilitate for you.
I think what happened is that I took notes and I was gonna talk about those points, but that's maybe not working.
Sorry, we've got a slender man behind you.
Hello.
Hey.
Sorry for interrupting. I just forgot to say something, and it's really important.
Hey, well, this
Yeah.
too late.
Just one thing, and that's this. If you haven't seen the mail that Damir sent, and I'm pretty sure after the discussion we had about mails earlier that you didn't, you've all got an opportunity to get 2 months of game development workshops for free.
I got this.
And
Okay,
Pixel Blades.
Yeah, at Pixel Blaze. So that's I was a sponsor also. So that's a 3-month workshop. You got 2 months free. So take a look if you want. Or if you're not into reading mails, go to pixelblaze.com and scroll up so that you see the Wanna Make Games image, and then go to the Google form and just apply. So that's it from me. Sorry for interrupting.
It's forgiven.
Thank you. I will now humbly leave
Now go.
this room. Yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Ciao. Ciao. Adieu.
Yeah, I don't know what I was going to say, but we all had a bunch of different ideas. Milos had some technical things he wanted to try. Matt had some technical things he wanted to try, and for me, I had this thing we had a pretty interesting story idea, and I really like this thought of a creature crash lands on a foreign planet and just gets more and more fucked up and depressed as he keeps killing the natives just to get out of there. So, and he wants to get out of there because he's fucked up and depressed. And I really like this progressively worsening situation. And I think it could have been translated very well with gameplay mechanics. I also think Milos introduced a couple of interesting gameplay mechanics with these creatures actually learning, you're the player character, and these creatures actually learning from you. So if you do a lot of jumping, they will learn to jump. If you do a lot of running, they will start running after you more. But this never translated into real strategical choices because the game was too short, and also because we should have play tested that and tweaked it, and it just didn't occur. I hope Milos isn't on there cursing my name right now.
He's not cursing. He actually last thing he said was "Woo, Esther."
All right. Okay. Good. That's good. And
But keep in mind that the stream is delayed by 10 seconds, so we may yet hear from
So Damir can add the beep.
so I think in general we had a lot of issues with management, time management. Milos, I was talking to him earlier this week, and he said there was so much I wanted to do, and I thought I had time to do it, and apparently I didn't. For me personally, I wish I was a bit more what's happening now? What are you guys doing now? What are you working on? Also, it's the way storytelling and gameplay connects, which is the core of a game basically. I wish I would have been more checking that regularly, okay, you're gonna introduce this mechanic, or even okay, you want to introduce this graphical effect. I'll talk about that more in a bit. But how does that influence the gameplay? How does it influence the feeling of the game, and how does it influence how the story comes across to the player? And I kind of wish, I don't know if it's the best way, but I kind of wish I would have checked on that more regularly and spoken up about it a bit more, because there's this, you mentioned, that ask your programmers questions because they're not smarter than you. Yeah. So that's how it's, because I was just okay, I'll provide you guys with art. Here's some art. Here's some art. Look, I animated the player character. Do you need it? And I wish I would have been more like, I mean, the art is definitely not the most important thing. It helps with the feeling of the game, but there should have been a lot more control of like how are like, there's no elegance, it's just a bunch of things slapped together. We have this interesting, I'm gonna tell it because this, I think this anecdote illustrates a lot about how we worked. Marco says, okay, give me 2 image files for the backgrounds because I want to make like backgrounds that kind of move as you're moving, and which is great, and it's really cool. He wants to try this and he wants to do this, and I think it gives you the sense of perspective. Or it doesn't work, it gives you the sense of being in the uncanny valley. But it's like, I don't know. I wish we would have been a team that could say, do we really need this? Do we need those fucking backgrounds to do that perspective thing? Is it better to focus on something else? And there was very little talk about this. Like, the thing you're doing right now, is it good with time, or is it just a thing you really want to try this game jam? Say.
So that you believe that the fact that you didn't have much agreements about those things. Do we need moving? Parallax? Do we need this? Do we need that? Do you think the other reason for that was the fact that you never really met up, all of you?
We never really met. Well, I mean, yeah, it's that. Like, Marco and Milos were talking, then I came, I was a bit late, shame on me. Then I came and we, also, the thing is, why I'm kind of scared to share my point of view about is that I have a serious professional malformation. I work as an illustrator, but also as an editor and corrector of scripts. So like, I'm a correct script. We should rewrite the story. We should change this. We should make the story more concise. And I have the tendency to. It's actually a very good thing, but I'm also shy to do it because maybe I will fuck up people's workflow by barging in and saying, "No, this doesn't make any sense logically. What's his goal? What are his feelings?" You know. But actually, it's hard to kind of balance what you want to bring into a team with. Will my opinion disrupt things? Will starting an argument about this disrupt our very precarious time schedule? And for me personally, I wish I was a bit more brave about that this game jam, because I have interesting things to say and it would actually teach people things and help people out. But I think it's also a general thing, like say things, have arguments, because it's probably better, unless you're a dick, then shut up. Does that make sense? I guess it does.
Yeah, it does, definitely.
So, I don't know. There's also the thing that you go into a game jam with different motivations as a team. Like, some people just want to have fun, some people want to meet people. I personally, I want to create something also because I want to work in the game industry. I would really like to do that. So I'm like, if we make a good game, we have a good portfolio piece. And then some other guys like, I want to try this thing I never tried before. And I'm like, should we do that? So that's when you form a team, or even when you already have a pre-formed team of people that know each other, or even people that are friends, you will have these conflicting goals as well, I guess. And there is the thing of like wanting to try a new technique, whether it's a graphical thing or a programming thing, or oh, I never used this software or this coding language before, now is a good time to try it. It's very, I don't really, I mean, I don't have any conclusions about it. It's more like an open question or a remark, because you have those two different ways of approaching a game jam, which is either let's try something new right now and see what happens, or there is this let's not do that and just focus on creating a compelling game mechanic or a narrative that is interesting, and let's just work with the resources we already have and the knowledge we already have as a team. I don't know, the latter seems more sensible to me, but I'm not very sure of that. It could be fun too.
Well, I think you should experiment with the game you're making, but not with your workflow, not with the tools you use, not with the way you work. So you take everything that works and just change one little thing.
Yeah, because when I saw, for example, those guys that had the blocky coloring game,
Yes?
the one that was,
Are you-
that's you guys, I think you had like a working thing quite early on. Like I think I saw you on Saturday already playing stuff and testing stuff. And
Yeah, I mean, we had that city done, and but that was only a small portion of the whole game.
but
Wait, did you understand properly? Did you mean the game with jumping? You used the jumpy blocky thing.
the jumpy blocky coloring thing.
That's another team.
Yeah.
That's Nemanya's team.
Great. The guy that changes the colors as he steps on. So it's
Yes, yes.
Sorry, that doesn't
No offense taken. But I think you guys had something working pretty early on. No, it's not a compliment.
It's an insult.
It's more, I mean, because it's just more fun, because then it also involves a team. Like, look, we have this now. Give your remarks, not like throw me some art, throw me some music, and I don't know. Also, we were kind of a pre-formed team. We worked together before, and that, in retrospect, maybe wasn't that interesting. Or no, that sounds worse than it is. But I mean, it would be fun to meet new people and to work with them. And yeah, you're kind of scared of like, what if these guys have totally different reasons for being here, totally different skills. I personally have this, do they even need a 2D artist fear? Hey, I make drawings, you guys. So it is a bit difficult sometimes to enter like a fresh team, but maybe it's good. It's definitely good to enter a team with people that are physically in the space.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Would you participate next time? Would you still allow for some team members to be offsite, or would you insist on a team that has all its members present during the jam?
It's a difficult choice. When I was talking to Milos about it, he said, I will never do this coordinating people that are off-site again, and I can completely understand the sentiment. There's things like, you know, Boris is floating around somewhere there on the internet, and he makes really good soundtracks, so it's kind of tempting to drag him in. But on the other hand, there's like, it's not fun. It's not fun to be like typing to someone, or like, you know, you're like, hey, I need this thing, or can you explain to me? I think I was talking to Marco at some point. Again, no problem with Marco, but it's like, can you explain to me what it is you need? And he's like, yeah, no, it's too much effort. And it's like, it's not very nice. I would be really hesitant to do it again. It's just.
Did you guys try talking with the mic?
Actually, I participated in the speedrun, even though I was in Belgium.
Yeah.
Which was an interesting experience. That also did not go very well, because like Esther, you would make the graphics and the animation, and I had. So I have experience being on site, but I also have experience being at home. And the thing is, I had no fucking idea what was going on.
Yeah.
I was talking to a very stressed out Milos.
Yeah, he was actually the only one from his team present.
Oh god.
In this big one.
Yeah. So.
Ambassador.
And
Yeah.
then you're like, can we maybe just have a Skype conference call permanently so we can shout things at each other or be on TeamSpeak or whatever? But that didn't really happen. It was more like, yeah, if you have some remark to make, it was almost like write a complaint. And just that level of communication, or that method of communication even, it's not enough. It doesn't work. If you're like making a game with some friends over, even then, actually with Heart Chaser, we got together after the game a couple of times, like let's work on the game. And this went well until people were like, I don't want to come to a meeting, just send me whatever you guys talked about. And then the whole project kind of fell apart. You need people that are willing to be there physically, I guess.
Any other remarks?
I don't know. Yeah, I have some remarks about the graphics, like which is my part. So I don't know if that's super interesting for you guys, but a successful thing for me was that the animation went a lot faster this time because of past experiences having trouble with the animation. The character needs to walk, so you make a walk cycle, and it's kind of a painful thing to do in animation. I think it's one of the, especially if you're drawing by hand, which I am, it's kind of tedious and you need to think left. I don't know. I usually spend a lot of time doing that. This time Milos provided me with a sprite sheet, for fuck's sake, which already had like a character on it, and I just drew over that, and it saved me so much time. And I don't know. A problem we had, which is maybe interesting, is because it's a mechanic artwork problem, is that these guys are the monsters, and you're not supposed to hit them because they die, which is sad, and that makes you sad. Yet in the game, when you hit them, they explode, they do poof, and they explode in these happy orange bubbly particle effects. That's not good. That really confuses people. We did the thing, we showed to friends, we showed to people during the game jam, and a lot of them took quite some time to catch on to the idea that touching these guys is actually bad. It's not a thing you want, because it looked like a thing you want, and it's a stupid design problem, but it arose because at no point it was like, hey, I'm making a happy orange particle effect when we hit the guys. Is that a good decision to make for the story and for the gameplay? So I don't know. I think, like, personally, a next game jam or a next whatever, I would like myself to be more upfront about leading things with time management, and also like being a bit more like controlling about how story and gameplay and the overall feel of the game connects, because that's what went missing. We had no coordination in our time management, in our organization, and you see it in the game. Yeah.
I'd just like to read Lista's comments. It's too time consuming to have communication that's not personal at this level of gaming. And like Esther said, it's not fun. It's stressful and quite unforgiving. So from now on, the only solution would be to work with people who are on site. And I would need to find some new people who are afraid of me, so they work what I tell them to, and disregard their opinions and needs. Yeah, that's Milos's comment.
So I would like to remark, in the future I would like to take some of Milos's leadership duties onto my shoulders. I think that'd be more relaxed for him.
Yeah, possibly.
I'm starting to worry about his overall happiness.
I think it is important for him to have actually someone working with him in the same place. Because this jam, he started working on the game alone. He was waiting for you. Marco came late, and in the speed run, he was all alone here. He was with us, but he didn't have anyone from his team. So that's quite taxing, I think.
It's taxing, and it's just, yeah.
Excuse me, guys. We're 25 minutes off, so
I'm
we're
almost
going to
done.
move on.
You're right.
Okay.
Unless anyone has questions.
I believe we will have questions now. Okay, any questions?
Questions for Esther?
Okay, thanks for